You ever wonder why things tend to get worse before they get better? My name is Peter Abundant, aka Dr. Abundant, PhD, ordained minister of metaphysical science, and author of many books such as The Enlightened Shadow and Spiritual, Not Religious. Today, what I want to do is I want to share with you a powerful lesson in understanding why exactly things get worse before they get better. A common analogy of this is often when we experience times of struggle, when we experience challenges, especially those challenges that are unforeseen or we just didn't see them coming, it's a clear sign, and it should be a clear sign that basically transformation is coming. Transformation is on the other side of this event, right? This situation, right? This obstacle, this challenge. And a good analogy to keep this in mind is when you wake up early in the morning before the sun rises. Do you know that before the sun rises, that is when it is its darkest, right? That is when the night actually is its darkest, right before the sun rises. This is a clear analogy, indicator, sign, symbol of transformation, and how it depicts that right before the brightness, right before the new dawn, right before transformation happens. Because keep in mind, the sun is a mirror of your own consciousness, and the sun coming up from the horizon, okay, is a representation of this transformation that's taking place within you and in your life. So, as and before the sun rises, which is your consciousness stepping into a new ascension, a new evolution, a new existence, creating a new reality for yourself, it's going to be a little bit dark right before that happens. That darkness represents maybe the chaos, maybe the drama, maybe the challenges, the, craziness that may happen, right? The disorganization that may happen that, you didn't see coming. You really had no idea was going to come, and it just really threw you off, right? That is ultimately the sign of a new dawn, a new beginning, a new existence, a new reality for you, because your consciousness, the sun, has gone a rotation, a circle, has experienced a level of awakening. Okay. And now you are continuing to ascend throughout your spiritual journey toward being the person that you are truly meant to be. So, what is the purpose behind this darkness? The darkness essentially is an example of life's toughest moments, right? And it's not about punishment. It's not about you being at fault or being to blame for what's happening. It is really about preparation. It's about allowing you to experience life and gain perspective as to what is happening now versus what will happen, okay? Or what is going to be a new standard for you. And so when you experience this darkness, understand that the challenges you're going through, the tough times, the triggers, maybe even the depression, the frustration, the anger, it is all just simply preparation. It is preparing you for a way of being that will simply require you to be of resilience, right? To be of commitment, to be understanding of your own faith within yourself, to essentially recognize that you can get through anything and you will get through anything. And so what that does is it's not preparation for you to continue to go through these experiences and have hard times and struggles. It's really to elevate you to a place above that existence, above that reality, above the struggles, right? Above the drama, above the toxic relationships, perhaps above the, experiencing of financial struggles. Okay. When you acknowledge that you are essentially above feeling anxiety, feeling frustration, feeling angst, then you leave that frequency behind. You ascend above it because you're not worried, you're not attached, you're not feeling a sense of not wanting it so bad because you hate that experience so much that you are no longer creating it. Because the more you focus on something, right, even if it is something you don't want, the likelihood it is going to be attracted to you. So, in order for you to ascend beyond ever experiencing that again, the repetitive experience of that thing is a lesson in you consciously recognizing that no matter how often you go through it, you get over it, you get past it, right? You ascend beyond it, and it doesn't really truly take away from who you are. And so that is essentially your lesson in recognizing you are above that. And when you take notice of it and consciously say to yourself, wait a minute, I've gone through this numerous times. And though during the moment, I feel like the world is crumbling, I feel like I have no control, I feel like, you know, everything is wrong, I still get over it. I still pass through it, right? It still doesn't truly damage you. It doesn't kill you, right? You still get through it. And so when you recognize that you continue to get through it, you understand exactly how powerful and how strong you are and how insignificant that fear or that negative experience is. And that's how you ascend beyond it to no longer experience it again. You see, chaos and struggle often precedes breakthrough because of that nature. Because many times, in order for your mind to break through the belief systems that you may have, the limiting belief systems, the unproductive paradigms, when you start to recognize that, you know what, I'm done with this, there is going to be a moment where your subconscious, because it is so used to that way of being, that it will cause a little bit of chaos, attachment. Your ego may want to, be fearful about the change. And therefore, there may be an internal experience of resistance, but also the external expression of that, which we often experience in the world, is a little bit of chaos, right? Because the universe has to follow suit with your transformation. The universe is an outward expression, a byproduct of what's going on within. Okay. So your outer reality is a reflection of your inner state. All right. Recognize that. So why do things get worse before they get better? Because again, it's about acknowledging that resistance from the old patterns of belief is something that is really right at the front of everything right now at this moment. Your way, right, of being and thinking is changing. And so transformation is that. It is you simply going from one state to another state. And that just doesn't happen, in a way that is without its moment of adjustment, right? Even if that adjustment only takes a second, 2 seconds, a day, 2 days, a week, a year, there is an adjustment that needs to take place. When we look at nature, nature is always going through phases and adjustments. You, as a spiritual being in a physical body, have to balance those two things, because though in your mind, it's just simply a shift of this is what I want and this is what I don't want. The physical body, everything else, the subconscious mind, the ego, all aspects that are more attached to the physical world will really have to make the adjustment. They have to follow, okay? And they have to trust in the lead of your consciousness, right? Of your conscious mind that knows and recognizes that, hey, things have to change. We are changing. It is done. The subconscious has to be programmed to follow that. Okay. So there is going to be a little bit of resistance from that part of you. And there's going to be moments where the universe has to recognize, you know what? We need to make some adjustments, because again, the universe is a reflection of yourself. And the universe takes time versus you can be a little bit quicker. So you have to be patient and recognize that, though in your mind it is done, the universe needs a little bit of time to adjust. Okay. Growth requires discomfort. When you think about growth and you think about a seed, when you think about planting, gardening, you plant that seed in the soil. There's a little bit of discomfort in that seed sprouting and pushing through the soil in order for it to get sunlight. Okay. That resistance is necessary because that resistance represents, again, you shedding the old self and going into a new. Okay. It's like a seed breaking through the soil. So you have to recognize that that is natural and you should want that. Okay. Because when you recognize that it is all around us in nature, everything has a transformative moment of discomfort or resistance. Okay. That represents the strength, the power, the resilience for you to push through it and actually make things happen. You need that in order for you to actually evolve into your higher self. All right. So here's some signs that you're on the verge of breakthrough. Oftentimes you experience increased challenges or even unexpected obstacles. Things just kind of come out of nowhere. When they're really not out of nowhere, they're really coming from a place of expressing yourself outward, right? So it was always in the works. It's just that maybe you weren't at a space where you can really go within and take notice of the transformation that's happening. And so by the time you take notice of it, it has already expressed itself outward. Okay. So changing your frequency or your vibration, your mindset can happen instantly. And sometimes the universe can respond as fast. We know subconsciously, we know on a deep level that the universe is a little bit slower than we are. And so sometimes though, we think it's too slow, right? We expect it to be slower than it actually is. So things happen or seem to happen a lot faster than you actually realize or think it will happen. So you have to understand that when things, what appears to be challenges or obstacles come about, it's just the universe trying to keep up with you. Okay. Trying to catch up. It's trying to let you know, okay, yes, we're on the right page. Everything is aligned. Let's move on to the next stage. Okay. You may also experience emotional, turbulence, moments of self-doubt and even questioning everything because you're at a place where your conscious mind, your consciousness is clear as to what you want, but you haven't fully adjusted subconsciously or even unconsciously. Your ego wasn't checked and put in place as to recognizing that its job is to be led by consciousness, not to lead consciousness. Whereas before, it was probably leading the whole show. Okay. But now you're on a higher level. And so you recognize, you know what? We need to check the ego. We need to be mindful about the subconscious mind. We need to be mindful about the unconscious mind. All right. That is where the emotional doubt happens, where the self-doubt happens, where questioning everything happens, because those things are usually grounded and programmed by fear. You see? So when you feel fear, recognize that's not coming from your true self. Okay, that's coming from that false self, the ego. That's coming from programs implanted in your subconscious. So you have to acknowledge it. Acknowledge, okay, I'm feeling fear right now. That fear is not grounded in truth. Your truth is consciousness. So you have to acknowledge that, listen, though I feel fear, I know myself to be a infinite being, okay, that cannot be harmed, that cannot ever die. I only transform. And therefore, all that I do, desire, will in fact not harm me. Okay. So there is no risk. There is no fear of injury, right? Because you, the true essence of who you are, cannot be harmed or injured. So when you understand that, again, you ascend beyond the fear. You ascend beyond the self-doubt. You recognize you are a expression of the divine intelligence that has and is all things, right? That has created all things, that is all things. And so when you recognize you are one with that, then you keep moving. You recognize you can let go of the fear, of the self-doubt. So in learning to navigate through the darkness, right, it's important that you embrace rather than you resist, okay, that you trust the process. Because a lot of times, remember, we are often so used to being led by the ego, which is a mechanism that is important for us in this physical world as physical beings, right? We live in this physical body. We have to protect that body. And so the ego's job is to do that. The ego's job is to protect your well-being, your emotions. Okay. The issue is we identify with that aspect so much that we think that everything is out to hurt us, that there is nothing about us that is infinite. Okay. We think that all that the ego is and thinks is all that is, when it isn't, right? That is only a small fraction of who you are. And so as you get into the spiritual journey, you recognize consciousness, the light, the sun, right? And the sun always wins over from the darkness, right? And the sun is the thing that eliminates darkness, right? So you can even look at the ego as darkness, right? The ego as ignorance or the unknown. Whereas, because the ego is scared of everything that it doesn't know, okay? Whereas consciousness is all knowing. It knows everything. And so that's how the sun can eliminate the darkness, the ego, or the unknown, and thus remind you that there is nothing to fear, okay? So instead of resisting the change, the discomfort, the chaos, embrace it. Recognize why it's there. It is simply just the resistance of your transformation that is natural. It is the breakthrough, okay? The seed, when it is planted and it grows through the soil, it is a breakthrough. It is breaking through the soil to grow and be its true potential. So you are breaking through to be your true self. Okay. So be mindful. Okay. Practice meditation as much as you can. Stay grounded in the faith in yourself, recognizing who you truly are down to the core, not just who you are externally, not just who you are by name. Okay. Just recognize who you are down to your very core. The light on the other side. Okay. Clarity, new opportunities, the highest true version of yourself. Always remember that that is on the other side of the darkness, of the obstacles, of the unknown, of the transformation. All of this that's happening is about you being your truest self, is about you being the true potentiality of who you are, right? You being that creator, that divine spark, right? That essence. So embrace that. Recognize that whatever struggles you're going through right now, you'll get through it just like you got through all the other ones. And when you get through it, you'll be stronger. You'll be better. You'll be closer to understanding your truth and who you truly are. Okay? Looking back, you'll see that that struggle was necessary for your transformation. If I were to ask you about something that happened to you in your life, even though it probably was the most horrific thing that you can possibly go through, if I asked you if you can change that and not go through it ever again, would you? The irony is that most people, I would say like 98% of all people will say, no, I wouldn't change that because it has made me who I am today. Now, in truth, it didn't make you who you are today. It revealed to you who you are. it revealed to you how powerful, how amazing, the infinite potentiality, the recognition that there is nothing that can actually stop you, hurt you. That is really what people mean when they make that statement. You have to understand that each challenge is transformation. The more you recognize that the previous challenges that you went through in life has allowed you to see yourself more clearly, then every challenge you see forward will also do so. And now when you have that foresight, that knowledge, that grounded base of understanding, then it just takes every quote unquote challenge to a new level, because challenges are no longer challenges. They are just simply lessons, right? They are simply the spiritual teacher within the universe actually communicating to you, right? It's like when you're in school, a challenge, we often call that a test. We often call that exam. We often call that a pop quiz. That's simply life, okay? Life happening. These obstacles, these challenges is life simply just testing you, allowing you to recognize you have the knowledge base and that you will get through this. You will eventually pass that test and every test. And once you recognize that, then there is no more things to fear. Then you can just simply let go of any sense of anxiety, worry, frustration, anger, bitterness, depression, right? And you can just move forward, recognizing your own individual spark and power. And then, because you're not spending so much energy on fear, on worry, on concern, you can truly actually live out your nature as a creator and create the life that you want, rather than trying to survive and penny pinch and, just receive crumbs of life and just survive, right? Because you're just used to living from a space of just making it, just getting by, just making sure the universe isn't trying to beat you down, just trying not to be seen by the universe so you don't get this negative attention. When in fact, the universe is trying to wake you up. That is why it's giving you these obstacles. So the more you push those obstacles down, avoid, not deal with them, the less likely you are going to actually see who you are. Okay? Those obstacles are, one, mirrors for you to actually see how powerful you are. Two, an opportunity to actually put that to the test and prove to yourself how powerful you are. So you win twofold simply by acknowledging these quote unquote obstacles and simply taking them on and recognizing, okay, this is just part of the game. This is what I signed up to do. This is why you're here. You're signed up for life. Life is about recognizing your divine spark, power, recognizing that divinity, and opening up to the reality that you are a creator of all things. All things that you experience is created by you. Okay? I don't want you to think that it is created by someone or something else. You experience your own reality. You create your own reality. The darkness that you experienced before the light is simply a part of the game. It's part of the process of transformation, of really self-realization, okay? Because it's not about transforming into somebody you're not. This is about revealing who you truly are. This is about understanding you, accepting you, loving you, okay? So take all of that and recognize that every struggle is meant for you to experience, recognize, go through, right? With joy, with trust, with honor. So that way you can see and be your true self. Thank you so much. Feel free, go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, get access to this free ebook, so much more. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.